This is the ability to preset clerk permissions. Now, the standard functionality in Room Key for clerk permissions is based upon main user roles in the clerks module. So these main user roles are used to grant a standard set of permissions based on one of three main user roles. That could be owner administrator, it could be a clerk user role, or it could be an accountant user role. Now, the workaround method that you can use is to add a user and customize these permissions for each unique role that you have at your property. Then you can use the copy and paste permissions function to add custom permission settings to each of your users. So for example, if you have a front desk agent and a front desk manager, and those have two different sets of permissions that you would like to standardize for all of your staff, you can use this workaround method to customize and standardize this for your own property. Now, the risk associated with this workaround method is if you forget to match the main user role designation. Let's take a look in a database so we can see how this workaround method can be applied to your property. So I have a demo database here, and the module that we're using is found in System Configuration inside the Clerks module itself. So once I open up this module, you'll see that this has an example of those different user roles that are customized for this property. So I have a user role for a front desk agent, a housekeeper, a front desk manager, and a housekeeping manager. And I've created separate users with login information. And for each of these users, I've gone ahead and I've customized the permission set. So when I created the front desk agent user, I used the permission settings on the permissions tab to give and take permissions that suit this user role at this property. So this is a customized user role. So when I hire a new user or a new staff member, I have an example down here. Mr. Peter Powell is a new staff member and he is a front desk agent. So I've created his clerk ID and login name and password here as a brand new user. And I'm going to go up to the top here to my front desk agent user role, right click on that user role and select copy. That will copy those permission sets and allow me to go to Peter Powell, right click, and paste those users' permission sets directly to his clerk ID. RoomKey confirms that those permissions have been granted successfully. So when Peter logs in using his new login name and password, he will have the exact same access as a front desk agent. Now, if Peter is an existing staff member or being hired for a new role, perhaps he is promoted to a front desk manager or front office manager role, you can use the same methodology, right-click and copy those permissions, right-click and paste those permissions. But I want to show you something that is of note, and this is the risk that I identified here. When I try and paste these permission sets from the front office manager role to Peter Powell's clerk ID, I get this warning message letting me know that I need to select a user with a similar user role. And the reason that that warning message occurs and does not allow me to successfully paste those permissions is because this user role designated to Peter is actually a clerk user role, whereas the front office manager permission set is based upon an owner admin user role. So in order for me to give these permission sets to Peter, I do need to change his main user role first. So I'll select his clerk ID, click modify, and change his main user role to the owner administrator role, and click OK. Now that I've done that, I can now go back to my permission set, right click and copy those permission sets, and locate Peter Powell, right click and paste those permission sets. And that now allows me to successfully grant those permission sets to Peter Powell for his new user role associated with the front office manager. So a couple things to note there whenever you are managing or using those preset clerk permissions to work around or customize permissions for the different roles that are unique to your property.